The state of Arkansas making headlines across the nation.
My son, Seth, signed the petition asking me, Dad, the governor, to veto this bill.
More than just political parties dividing over the religious freedom bill today.
And revive the spirit of Southern hospitality in Arkansas.
THV 11 team coverage of House Bill 1228 starts right now.
Now, from Arkansas's News and Information Center, this is THV 11 News at 6.
It may be April Fool's Day, but Governor Asa Hutchinson's message to lawmakers is no joke. He wants a recall of the Religious Freedom Bill. And thank you for watching. I'm Craig O'Neill.
And I'm Dawn Scott. We've had a crew at the state capitol today following everything from protests to press conferences. THV 11's Phil Buck anchoring our team coverage from outside the state capitol now. Phil.
Well, Dawn and Craig, things are moving quickly here at the state capitol. In fact, the situation has changed dramatically since we talked to you just 1 hour ago. Our Kevin Traeger and our Marlisa Goldsmith are both inside the state capitol right now as lawmakers seem determined to get this Religious Freedom Restoration Act passed before the end of the session. That session was scheduled to end tomorrow, and now you can really tell there is a sense of urgency for lawmakers who want to get this law on the books. Now, it appears that House Bill 1228, the original bill that was coming under so much fire, is now dead. But we just learned in the last half hour that lawmakers have attached an RFRA to a Senate bill that is currently in front of lawmakers. Kevin Traeger is following that. In fact, he is expecting an interview from one of the primary sponsors coming up in just a bit. First, though, we heard from the governor this morning, and he surprised many people when he came out and said he would not sign House Bill 1228.
It has divided families, and there is clearly a generational gap on this issue. My son, Seth, signed the petition asking me, Dad, the governor, to veto this bill.
But the governor said Wednesday it was not his son who convinced him not to sign House Bill 1228.
But we wanted to have it crafted similar to what is at the federal level. And to do that, though, changes needed to be made. The bill that is on my desk at the present time does not precisely mirror the federal law.
Governor Hutchinson went on to say that possible economic impacts to the state also played a role in his decision.
We have to, as a state, look for means to communicate that we recognize the diversity of our workforce. We are an international community in terms of housing the headquarters of international businesses here in this state, and we want to be able to compete in that market.
We had conversations, so no, I wasn't surprised.
Representative Bob Ballinger wrote the bill and understands the reasoning behind the governor's decision.
What we've got to do is make sure that we can kind of step back and make sure people realize what this bill is and what this bill does. And so we're going to try to come back and rework it so that people can be sure.
But how do we as a state communicate to the world that we are respectful of a diverse workplace and we want to be known as a state that does not discriminate but understands tolerance?
Again, this is a developing situation. We have two crews inside the state capitol right now tracking those developments. First, let us go to Marlisa Goldsmith, who earlier today was with opponents of House Bill 1228 when the governor announced his decision. Marlisa?
Phil, it was a very emotional day for many involved today. As for opponents, they had no clue what was going to come out of that press conference held by the governor earlier this morning. But in the end, relief for them as the governor chose not to sign the bill as is. Anticipation building as dozens of House Bill 1228 opponents stand outside of the governor's conference room waiting to hear his decision.
We see, Governor, that you are listening. And this is a positive step forward and shows a willingness to compromise.
Several minutes pass. Word gets out. Governor Asa Hutchinson will take no action.
And I think the governor finally recognized the fact that we had a bad bill and it needed to be changed.
Now, the Stonewall Democratic Caucus of Arkansas is asking him to right what they call a wrong by signing an executive order.
Remove the doubt of discrimination. Remove the doubt of economic uncertainty and revive the spirit of Southern hospitality in Arkansas.
Outside, dozens of opponents celebrating the governor's decision, a victory in their eyes.
I see a sign in the back that says "Love Conquers." I think we need to give a little love to the governor. I think we ought to thank him for what he's done.
But before they leave, Representative Eddie Armstrong makes a charge to continue the fight.
Don't leave. Do not leave this Capitol until we get the results that we absolutely want. Don't leave.
And now the Stonewall Democratic Caucus is in the process of collecting signatures for their petition asking for that executive order. Phil.
Marlisa, thank you again. If you're just joining us, this is a developing situation as lawmakers right now appear to have scrapped House Bill 1228 and moved a Religious Freedom Restoration Act onto and attached it to a current Senate bill. Our Kevin Traeger is following those developments right now. He is joined by Senator Bart Hester. Kevin, what's the latest?
Phil, good evening. As you said, joined by Senator Bart Hester, one of the primary sponsors of House Bill 1228, which started all of this. Tell us a little bit about the new bill, the addition to the two new bills that we're going to be seeing in the Senate tonight.
Okay, I think what the goal is from our governor, who has a lot of support in Arkansas, a lot of support in the legislature, and because of his leadership, we have came together this afternoon. We've worked really hard to make our religious freedom bill that we had in Arkansas more closely reflect that of the federal government's RFRA.
Just tell me a little bit more. I mean, have you spoken with the governor today? I know that was his request in the press conference this morning, was that it mirror that federal bill that, as you just told me, has withstood the test of time. Have you spoken with the governor personally to get his indication that this is something he'll sign?
I have spoken with the governor personally. This is a bill he plans on signing. And again, the governor just looks at things. He represents 3 million people. I represent 90,000. He had to keep everyone's opinions at heart, and he's done that here. We've got a bill that we can all stand behind.
And what's the next step? I know it's going to go to the Senate tonight. How do you see this playing out?
We're about to vote it on the Senate floor as soon as I leave here. We're going to vote it off the Senate floor, send it to the House. I feel like it'll come out of the House committee and House floor tomorrow, and I sure hope we have a signing tomorrow night.
All right, that's Senator Bart Hester of Bentonville explaining the new plan to get this onto the governor's desk as soon as possible, because as we know, the session is expected to end very soon. Phil, we'll send it back to you.
Kevin Traeger, thank you. So it does appear House Bill 1228 is now dead, but there still could be a Religious Freedom Restoration Act in the works for the state of Arkansas. We will continue to follow these developments and come back with a full updated report for you on the THV 11 News at 6:30.